custom mouse. So I'm going to go over my requirements, do the same as I shared in the last presentation, but my goal is for my minimum requirements to have a functional mouse with a scroll wheel, left and right clicks, and side switches that can work for functions like copy and paste. I also want to be using Bluetooth communication and rechargeable with a USB-C charger. Ideally, I'd like there to be more side switches and be able to program them so that they can do different functions based on what you would like, and have battery life displayed with an RGB LED, just with different tones to indicate what different battery level and when it's low battery, and rechargeable with USB-C and wireless charging as two options. And some stretch goals that make it more into the custom mouse territory is having a mouse pad for wireless charging that's sort of custom and matches with the mouse, battery life display hopefully on a website, and then multiple enclosures that the electronics will work with. So this entire design is modular and it allows users to experiment with different mouse styles, maybe have ones that fit better with their hand or try different ergonomic designs. In terms of my current progress, I've been spending a lot of time testing all of my initial individual components, mostly like my encoders, buttons, etc. And I've done initial CAD design and initial 3D print just to sort of see how it feels. And I will be iterating on that in the next week to make it fit my hand a little better and fit all the electronics very well. And then I've also started looking at and starting PCB design for the components to make sure they all interface correctly. I am falling a bit behind. In the past week and a half, I've had some issues programming my MCU. I was using the NRF 52840 chip, and because I was having so many issues, I've actually switched to using the ESP32 for my first iteration of my design. Since I've switched, I've had a lot better progress, but I've just lost a lot of time. First with waiting for my parts to come, and then now after troubleshooting programming. So I've fallen a little bit behind, but with the ESP32, it's looking like a lot more possible to catch up, and I think I'll be able to transition back to a different MCU. So looking at my Gantt chart, I'm still sort of around milestone 2 of testing everything, but I hope to finish that early next week and then work on milestone 2 next week, and then have ideally a week for each of the second iterations, which will likely just be a lot of like redesign. I really want to make the 3D printed enclosure as comfortable for me to use as possible. Potentially I'll be switching from the ESP32 to the Adafruit Feather board, and that might help a lot for my design, and then overall just making the code as efficient as possible. In terms of my BOM, I've ordered a few things, but not too much, just some components for PCB, and then also the Adafruit Feather board. I conducted a few more interviews to ask people what they still asking more about, like what people like in a mouse. I did find that like interesting things I'm starting to find is that a lot of people I ask have been saying that like they really do like a mouse that fits their hand well, and this does really show that a design like this or a product that tries to emphasize having a more custom appearance and shell design would be very marketable, especially towards women or people with smaller hands, because a lot of times they feel that their hand doesn't fit as well with mice that are on the market because it might feel big or bulky. People also really like a compact portable Bluetooth mouse. I feel like that's a very common thing that people are looking for. And yeah, having side buttons with good functionality is really important to people, and many people are very interested in the tilted ergonomic design, whether or not they've tried it before. It's something that people are very interested in and would be interested in trying, so I think having that flexibility would be something that people would be very interested in for a design. So major learnings has been just programming my NRF 52840 with, I learned how to program with the U of 2 file, and that was working, but even though it didn't like end up working for me in the end, I learned a lot through that process about how to troubleshoot things and overall just like how that works. But yeah, even if the code didn't end up running and working, I was able to get it to flash the device. So that was an interesting learning for sure. And questions for you all. I'm curious if you ever find yourself using your mouse. Do you ever find yourself using it while it is charging? And is this something that like you'd want to be able to do comfortably? Is that something that's an important feature to you? Just curious because I'm expecting to be able to use this mouse while it's charging, but I didn't know if it was something that people actually use that often. And have you ever had issues with the mouse fitting your hand or feeling comfortable? Is there anything specific about your mouse that makes it more comfortable for you to use? Is like the size or any specific shapes make it a lot better for you and make it a mouse that you would like to use and that works best for you. That's all I have. Thank you.